Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning, evenings and afternoons. Welcome to the Pop Show. Quite a few of you waiting there. I'm really sorry if I kept you guys waiting. I was early and then I was late. I've been busy cracking jokes on Facebook. So hope you guys are having a really good weekend, getting some cool stuff done. Just first things first, if you're really hanging out for episode 2 of this one, it's up and available to you for you now. I mean, you can go and watch that now. It's almost as entertaining as I will be today. Good morning, Shroud. Hey, Nate. Morning, guys. How are you? Who have we got here today? There's actually quite a few people in. Cool. Thanks for showing up. Ghostini. Hey, man. Yeah, I got to keep my promises. I'm sorry that it took until, it's getting towards the end of the month. Hey, Andy. Thank you for joining, mate. Well, as you guys have seen, I've been putting out loads of content. So, can you guys hear all the electronics and stuff going off in the background? That's the tabs. Don't you guys think we should get the tabs on the show one day to have a talk with us instead of, beating up stuff in Minecraft in the background? But I've put up loads of content this month, and it's a race to get everything done. There's so many cool things that I want to work on. But, and the books is one of them, because I learned a bunch of stuff from it. So it's up. We covered. I'm not going to do it all now, because, the lovely Tomoe is not available right now. But last night, we did this section. So Tomoe and I, we did a bunch of notes, make sure that we were all covered and had everything ready. And this is the next section we're going to do. We're going to do, Yokoyama-san has done some really cool tips. He's built like 10 or so of the Ammo Knight, and he goes through some build and paint techniques for us. So we've started working on understanding that to a deep level. Last night we did the finish of this section, and we talked about the how the Mark 44 came into fruition, came into being as a plastic kit. 25 years ago, it was a, here you go, 25 years ago, it was first it was a garage kit made by Kotobukiya, and then 25 years after that, it was made as a plastic kit from Hasegawa. We go into the details there. I've just put it on. You can get a link from it from either, the face on the paint on, what's my brand again? Paint on Plastic? you can go to the Paint on Plastic Facebook page or paintonplastic.com, and there's a link there that will take you through to the show. It's about like 20-25 minutes. It's really good. We really liked it. Hey, Jacob. Yeah, I know. I know who I am. But I didn't want to be one of those guys who just called my brand. Hey, good morning, Adam. I didn't want to be one of those guys who just called my brand, my name, right? Oh, it's Lincoln. I wanted something descriptive, so when people ask me, what do you do for a living? Yeah, I put paint on plastic. And it was, honestly, like with a lot of things in my life, it was a bit of a gag, and it's kind of taken off from there. What I wanted to do on the live show today... Well, Nate, it's funny you should say that. Nate suggested Link and the Rights. One of the things that was suggested to me was, the right way of painting, or, with the play on how my name is spelt and sounding right. But, it's funny. I thought it was kind of good, but I'm not always right. I do a lot. I make a lot of mistakes, so I thought it might be kind of a bit weird. But what I want to talk about today, really briefly, this will probably be one of the shorter live shows, and just to give you guys an update, what I do now is I've combined this. I want to keep the live YouTube shows short and reasonably condensed. I want them to be, informative, entertaining, but not too long, not drag on too long, and get a bit of interaction in. And then after this, we adjourn to Discord. Discord is really, really, really useful, and I've been finding it, and it's loads of fun too, because I want to hear what you guys have to say. The interaction thing, it's much more fun for me personally if it goes both ways. So at the end of this show, we go and do a Discord live chat, and the details for that, again, they're on my media. Go check them out. And hey, Jason, welcome, mate. So, and I'll do 2 Discord chats today to catch up with you guys, just to make the time zones work for you. I'll do one straight after the show that seems to be really popular with my UK mates, and early bird rises in Australia. And then I was talking with some of my buddies in the US, and we were saying we might do one. This will be quite a few hours from now. My afternoon time seems to work good for my buddies in the US. Let's test it out. So, what my plans are with this content line is, so I'm doing the tutorials for models. I started doing a paint one, a build one. I started with paint. I've done a build one, which seems reasonably popular. The paint ones are doing really well. If you guys have seen it, if you go to the Ammo by Ma.k Modelling channel, I did a simplified version for them so that people who speak English as a second language can pick up on it, and we did it with Japanese subtitles. But believe me, it's a lot of work to put all of those things together. I had to really learn loads of stuff. But that video has done really well. I think it's got over 9K views in the first week. And I've had really good feedback from Japanese fans, so you know that's helping people out. And I just want to show them nice, simple ways to enjoy their models. With this content line, I was thinking, instead of sitting around, what I can do is I can help people, because I get a lot, I still do, I get a lot out of this sort of stuff. I've got a quite extensive collection of Japanese publications, and I'm sure you guys do too. And the trouble is, most of the time, we're stuck with just looking at the pictures, right? And people constantly asking me, I mean, when people know that I can read and write Japanese, and so can my wife, I'll constantly get photos sent to me saying, what does it say, what does it say? Because I know you want to know. We all want to know what's in them, right? And Google Translate is awesome. But some of the nuances that are written by some of these guys, it's very difficult, because it's not a straight translation. It's not Japanese to English that machine learning can handle. It's very nuanced. And I put this one in as a gag too, because Oya-san, hey, you're in Italy? Yeah, I was wondering where you've been, dude. Welcome back. Well, listen, this is one of my favorite ones from Italy. I was pulling out all of my art books, and there's a bit of a gag. I'm hoping Luca's watching this, because I was going to talk about translating Luca's English to English. And, hey, morning, Ben. Isn't it brilliant? Luca's stuff is just the best. And, I wanted to, how is this? I wanted to brag about this. So Luca's a family friend. He's not just a buddy of mine. He's a family friend. We've all spent loads of time together, and we often showed him and his lovely girlfriend around Tokyo quite a bit. And so there's to my friends, Link, Tomoe, and Tabitha. They really got on. Tabitha and Luca got on super well. So they've hung out together in Tokyo, and also over in Luca's hometown, we've got, you'd never believe it, Luca's like he's a real tough guy, right? Tough ex-skateboarding, mecha making guy, right? And then we've got photos of him and Tabs in fields of dandelions, frolicking together. It was just gold. That was really cool. Luca sketched this. I don't know if you can see the difference in quality there. So Luca sketched this in. And so he's done a kind of steampunk, slightly Ma.k sort of thing. It looks awesome, right? But so I have a lot of art books always around. Actually, I've got another one just out of hand's reach. I've got to show you this. I was a little bit late to get this one, but I've got some projects kicking off with Star Wars stuff. And who does not love the Star Wars? This book is one of the best of my collection. I'm really, really getting into this one. It's just got the best stuff, eh? We'll come back to that another time. We could even do another series, Stinky Link's art inspiration. Especially once I kick off, and I've got some Star Wars Bandai kits to do. Yeah, the guys are coming in. There's a bunch of comments now. People love the Star Wars art books. Yeah, they're really good. Actually, once we like Discord, etc., I'd be happy to hear recommendations from you guys too for what you like. So a lot of you guys will know the Western stuff better than I do. And I can show you some of the Japanese stuff that I really like. This conversation was coming up a little bit too. One of my buddies, Gene, was mentioning, talking about like box art covers and things that I like. This guy was introduced to me by Yokoyama-san, Takani-san. I think he's one of the best artists of our time. And he's got some really interesting stories. He did the old, you'll recognize them. My mate Nate just had a Centurion. And it's by, if you're watching Nate, it's by this guy. Actually, I can probably, it's in, these are the old Tamiya box art covers, right? And I should have marked it for you. Actually, I think, is that it? I think that might be it. That's one of my favorites, the down the barrel shot. And he's chieftain. It's really, really good. But what you guys may not know is that, look at these. Look at those colors, the color usage. We, now, if you go towards the back of the book though, he's famous for the Tamiya stuff, right? Boats, planes, the lot. I mean, the sky and cloud effects are just fantastic, right? So I've based a lot of my painting style when I handbrush with lacquers, trying to emulate Takani-san's work. But let's get to, does this one have his mechas? No, because it's a separate one. So this one doesn't have a lot of translation material, but this is the same fella. That's his name in Japanese characters. And what you guys may not know is that original Gunpla, way back in the day, looked like this. Now I know I've always kind of talked about myself as a Gunpla noob, and in terms of making the stuff, it's true I haven't made a good volume of them, but I've known about the history. I've been immersed in the history of them for quite a while, especially working with some of the old legends. There's no escaping it. They say, Link, look at this. You know, you have to know. So when I kicked off actually with that first Barbatos, I was doing it a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I didn't want to explain it at the time because it's very convoluted, but the original look for Gundam before the factory clean finish was invented a little bit later on with the you know, the proliferation of airbrush use. That's my copyright for the day. Before they kicked off, everybody was handbrushing their stuff. As these are handbrush. These are I believe they're Liquitex on canvas. Gunpla Gundam look like this. It's really beat up, and where are the big shots? It's got a really hardcore weathered look, right? And it's very militaristic, quite grungy. Quite grim and dark, and but you know, I guess this one is hard to sell to little kids, and it's really hard to pull off, right? The look at this, like obviously that's a Canadian Rockies type shot, right? But all just brilliant work. But you guys will really have a look at these. I've got to flick back. See, it goes into a lot of his history. But look at his Macross work. If you've seen these old Macross ones, this is the guy. This is the guy who did them. I mean, his color usage, the highlights, everything, it's just insane. So it's brilliant. I mean, look at these Destroids. Now, a tip is, he was probably painting. Yeah, the guy's saying, this is fascinating, isn't it? Stinky, old Uncle Link, I know a few things. It's just, I don't want to... It's hard to package what I know and get it out easily. That's why, you know, thank you YouTube and this live function that I can grab a book and talk about it, right? This would be, can you imagine trying to write this out and post this to the internet? You know, number one, people would be saying, no, you don't know what you're talking about. It's wrong. Gunpla is this. I go, well, okay. But dude, I got books from Japan and I'm old. So my mate who works at YouTube, Jason, yes, thank you, mate. It is. It's really, really, really helpful. So now another little tip I'll quickly give you is that you can see he was probably working on his Makava 1 Tamiya box art at the time. It's the same color palette from the Makava, but with red and contrast added because we can be a lot more arty in science fiction. And if you have a look at the Centurion that I showed before, he's using a very similar color palette on these two, just tweaked a little bit. He's gone with a bit more red in this one, a bit more yellow in this one. So his artworks are a masterclass in painting. And so Yokoyama-san took me through these. Yokoyama-san uses them for study as well. Look at that! How awesome is that? I mean, this is how they're supposed to look, in my mind, in my humble opinion. A battloid. I mean, that's why... I don't know if I'll give this a go on the 1/48 scale kit, but I definitely want to give these a try. And the only way to achieve this look, these are hand-painted, they're non-computer graphic, hand-painted with acrylic artist paints. I believe he uses the brand Liquitex. And the only way to achieve that is to hand brush it. You cannot get that finish with an airbrush because it's the, how do I explain it? The komakai, what's the word that we use? The resolution. Sorry. I had one of those Japanese English mind blocks. The resolution is too fine to be done with an atomized type paint. The only way to be laying that down is with a multitude of vectors that we can express via hand brush. Actually, my English is getting a lot better. I can explain things a little bit better now. So yeah, they're very painterly. And this was the look. I mean, they had to do this look back then because they didn't have Photoshop or Corel Painter and applications like that. They couldn't render them in CG graphics. Not that they're wrong. That's another really cool look. But they're very like the word to me is visceral. I feel that they're a very visceral, I can almost feel it like a tactile sort of feeling. Even looking just through my eyes, I feel that I can see the artist is trying to portray something. So I thought that was really nifty. Whoa, look at these. So, but what's really cool is, in these books, the gentleman is Yoshiki Takani-san. He goes into a lot of reasons. Like there's his history, why he did these things. And this is straight from the 80s, because he's young. 70s and 80s. And everybody smoked. So this is some really good stuff. I can go into these, talk about some of his history and background. I've been to a number of his art shows. I went to the last one together with Max Watanabe, and we had a ball. And yeah, he's got loads and loads of stuff. So this is something I was thinking I could touch on in my, Let's Read Japanese Books with Stinky Link as well. And there's even stuff like this. Original 80s Hobby Japan. I don't know if you guys will know it. This is the one that Machine and Krieger kicked off in. I mean, that's the first Machine and Krieger shot that the world saw. The AFS was born in this. And this is what started it. People saw that. I mean, the other ones were cool. I mean, you got all these kind of things, right? They're very nifty. Star Wars homages. Different things like that. But look at that grim, dark look that they put together for Machine and Krieger. It's the most realistic, in a way, look from them. And that's one of the reasons it's kind of stayed on from today. And, I mean, there's some really nifty stuff in here that we could go through and translate for you as well. That's why there's a world of stuff out there that we're kind of not getting access to as English speakers. And so this is more stuff from Takani-san. Look at his color usage here for the orange. So I think I might be one of the few people who can bridge this little world and get up some sort of record of what this gentleman did and how it could influence and help us to enjoy our models more. I mean, just simply put it, I think painting like this is fun. And, oh boy, it's lots of good stuff here. I mean, look at these. If you like SF stuff, right? So this is a lot of the inspiration I take. So I thought they're really, really cool. And I'll try and show you guys more and more and more of that, if that works for you. So, yeah, okay. We'll kick off into some more of them. Number 2 of my series is up. paintonplastic.com. Just go there. There's a link that will take you to it. It's also on the Facebook page, and I hope you guys like it. It's got some funny moments in it where my wife is upset with me, maybe twice, because I was getting it wrong. Tomoe, my lovely wife, and I'm just making fun. She's very correct and accurate. So if I said it slightly off, see, my wife speaks English too. she knew when I was translating it slightly wrong. She said, no, you're not getting the nuance. You got to say this thing right. So that's why I think together as a team, we're really, really good. And that's what it requires. It really requires the two people to do it. Just one of us, just one person, you can't have it all. Yeah, you can't have it all. The world is too far to cross. And the other thing is, even if I work with another person who speaks Japanese and English and we translate it together, it's not going to be as good to understand it as Tomwa and I together, because we've been together 20-something, 25 years, right? So you guys who've had relationships for long periods of time, you'll understand what I mean too. You've got, and you can understand each other a lot better just because, you know, you've been sharing that mind for a long time, right? So there's that too. So I think that's really good value, and I hope we can give back to you guys. I hope you like it. So that's up there. 20 minutes. We'll kick off into the first Discord. Chat, fun, joke, making fun of me with... I'm not going to say the jokes because some of them were a bit off, but some of the guys were really getting into me last week and it was hilarious. We'll start off with one straight away, and then I'll touch base again later this afternoon and see if you guys are ready for another chat, because I understand the timing makes it difficult, so I'll try to save myself so I can be fun and entertaining for the second one, and we'll go with that. So thanks a bunch, guys, and all of those details, just jump onto my media. I'm not shy about it. Everything is there, including how to get onto our Discord chats as well. Cool. So we'll see you next week, same time, same bat channel for another chat. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. See ya. And thank you so much for everybody joining. It was really cool. Cheers, Jason. Thanks, mate. Thank you for YouTube. Okay, see you guys. Bye.